Welcome to the Pirate Broadcast, where we interview interesting people doing interesting things, where you can expand your connections, your community. Kindness is cool and smiles are free. And let's get this party started. And it's a beautiful day for the Pirate Broadcast, where we bring interesting people doing interesting things. And I'm grateful for your being here and participating in the community, sharing a little kindness along the way, and smiles are free. So share one, pass it along, and enjoy your day. I also want to introduce you to another pirate, Deirdre Deirdre the Pirate is in the house today. How are you today?
I am fantastic. I'm so happy to be here with you and be part of the pirate crew. So thank you for having me. Yes.
We were talking before the show, and we actually started a little bit late because we were having such a great time, a great conversation. So I know that this is going to be a dynamic conversation today.
Yes.
I was telling her a story, a long, sad story about my breaking my hip, and how time just flies by, and you're young, you're 19, and you're thinking, I'm never going to hit 50. I'm never going to get old and feel it's like little aches and pains here and there. However, we do. Life happens, and the next thing you know, you're there. And
you're there. So
I know that some of your background is around research and the medical profession and some of the things that are happening in and around our world right now. And there's a couple of things I wanted to talk to.
Okay.
And one was, I was thinking about this morning, Deirdre, is one, research is one of those professions that it's a lot of test and evaluate, and it's like, it didn't work exactly how I imagined. So it's almost like your failures are part of the process. And I don't know if it's considered failure as much as you tested something that didn't actually end up exactly the way you wanted to work it, or it didn't provide the results you were looking for.
Correct.
I'm trying to frame it in a way, and I wanted you to kind of speak to that, because I think a lot of people in life are so fearful of testing things and not knowing what the outcome is. And you're in the business of not knowing what the outcome is in a lot of ways. So kind of broaden that thought process, and let's talk about how that impacts so many people's lives.
Okay. So research is like the silent machine that runs, a variety of therapeutics that are designed to give us a longer lasting life, to treat conditions that were either ineffective or did not have treatments for them, for, rare diseases, new, more aggressive cancers that are coming out. And so with research comes many years of development. So you have to come up with a molecule, you have to go through animal testing, you have to go through a variety of stages before you even get to the point where you're actually testing a drug in a human. Okay. The drug has to be proven to be safe. It has to go through a whole bunch of testing. And I'm not going to get into a lot of, scientific words here, because I think it gets lost in the meaning. And I think people just want to sound really smart. So basically, research is there so that we can actually improve the longevity of our lives. But what's happened in the current climate is that we have a whole bunch of different experts spewing out information that is confusing the population. Yeah. So you have people that are talking about this therapeutic drug. You got people talking about this therapeutic drug. You've got every day a new article of people saying, shave your beard off. You're more likely to get COVID if you shave your beard off. You're more likely to get COVID if you're over 6 feet tall, and do all of these different things is absolutely, everybody's kind of going, what is this? What is this? What is it that you want us to do? Yeah. And so basic infection control, okay, is to just be clean, okay? Keep your hands clean, keep your face clean, and just be clean, okay? And that's really sums it up. And so when it comes to research, okay, it takes a lot of work to get a drug or a vaccine ready for development. You have to go through many stages of development, four stages to get it to the place where it's ready for the population to mass receive it. And so with that being said, I don't think we're anywhere close to having a vaccine because it takes a lot of trial and error. Case in point, and I'll wrap it up, is that if I develop compound A, okay, and it does well in animal testing and it does well in healthy volunteers, but when we test it in the actual population that actually has the condition, you might pick up some we call AEs, okay? AEs. Now I'm not going to name the company, but one of the side effects of a medication was, hello, good morning. You know, it was actually used as a hypertensive drug, and it actually produced a side effect that made men really, really, really happy. Yeah. Okay, you know, that was the side effect. Okay, yeah. But that wasn't the intention. That wasn't the intention of the drug. So that was a happy side effect, but then you have some side effects that are more undesirable. Then you have to go back to the drawing board and see what's causing this, and then you have to retweak it. So it's a lot of trial and error till you get it to the point where it's more beneficial than detrimental to the population.
Yeah, and that is such a challenging process. It has to be challenging, and the amount of patience that you have is probably tremendous. It's practicing every day.
It's a lot because they're global trials. So they happen. They're global trials. So when you have a global trial, the global trial takes place in the United States. It takes place in Europe. It takes place in Asia. It takes place in Australia. It takes place in Africa. It takes place in South America, so that you're seeing how people are responding from different locations to their compound.
You have to have a broad demographic of individuals to really, get enough data back to know what the side effects.
That's correct. That's correct.
I know I'm here in Arizona caring for Mom now. And so when she's watching television and some of these commercials come on for drug, use, and it's mostly geared and focused to the geriatric community. And the side effects, the list of the side effects are tremendous. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know if I would rather have the symptom or the side effect, because some of these may or may not happen. They may or may not happen. However, it's a process. And I want to bring it up because, somebody that is unaware of the process, unaware of the system that we have to go through in order to accomplish this goal, is saying, hey, why don't you just go to the lab and mix something up and make it happen? Why can't they just, and they don't realize that there's a large machine that has to be moved, and everything has to go through this machine, and testing and evaluation and several layers of testing. Excuse me. And so just to bring awareness to the pirate community and everybody around here, share this out, because it's not that everybody's dragging their heels. It's not that they're getting anything that you're not doing what you need to do, but it's really about how you can actually generate real tests and real results and come back.
Okay. So basically, to answer your question, we generally use a guidance. It's called the Code of Federal Regulations. Okay, this is our guidance book. Okay, this is what we call the Research Bible. Okay, and in here, it tells us basically all the requirements of conducting a trial. It tells us all of the regulatory documents that are required to conduct a trial. It tells us the IRB requirements. And IRB is the Institutional Review Board that approves a protocol. A protocol is designed to conduct a study of a new drug, okay? And to participate in a new drug study, all participants must be able to sign an informed consent where they actually give consent to participate in the trial. Okay. So we follow what we call ICH GCP guidelines. So in this book, this is an old version, but in this book, it has so much information that we utilize that tells us all the requirements and guidances that have been initiated by the FDA. And so there's no like shortcutting to get to where you want to go. You have to follow the process of research and development. There is no way to overlook that. And so during the conduct of a trial, you'll have what we call interim analysis, okay? Where they actually look at the data and determine, what's happening with the data. So let's just say, for example, during the interim analysis for, quarter one and quarter two, or interim analysis 1 and interim analysis 2, it is determined that 20 people have had a heart attack. Okay. All right. At all the, across all the sites, spread out. Okay. 20 people have had a heart attack. So they're going to say, wait a minute. 20 people have had a heart attack. We've got to stop and reevaluate this because people shouldn't be having a heart attack taking this drug. Okay. So we've got to stop. We've got to see what's happened and reevaluate. Is it this drug? Is it something else? Have we enrolled people who were sick? Have someone enrolled people who were unhealthy and should not be on this trial? Is someone taking a drug that is interacting with the drug? We have to actually look at every single aspect of the trial to determine, is it the drug? It may not even be the drug. It may be people enrolled in the trial that shouldn't be in the trial.
So not only you do the research, you have to do the forensics.
Yes. Yes. We have to do a lot of investigation. So there's a lot of moving parts. So when you are conducting a trial, you have researchers, you have biostatisticians, you have medical affairs, you have data managers, you have pharmacovigilance, you have clinical monitors, you have project managers, you have so many people that are feeding into, the success. We're always hoping for success of the trial and success of the therapeutic.
And that's why it can take years. Because you can make some adjustments and go back. Do you start multiple trials simultaneous, or is it just like you start with one and you go through the whole process and then you say, okay, that outcome isn't what we would like to see, so you start another one? Or are there multiple trials going on at the same time?
Most sponsor companies, they will start multiple trials. Like they may have like one compound, and they may start multiple trials once it's deemed that the compound is safe and it's stable. So let's just use say Crohn's disease. Okay, so if the compound is safe, they may try multiple protocols to use the compound in different trials with people with moderate to severe Crohn's, or maybe, very mild Crohn's or very extreme Crohn's, to see how it works in various populations, with Crohn's disease. And they might find it's very effective in those with moderate to severe Crohn's, but ineffective in those with mild Crohn's.
Hmm.
Okay, so that's why you'll see those differences and say, okay, well, it's effective, in those with, and that's mostly with like biosimilars or things like, biosimilar drugs or the name has just left my head right now because I work on so many things in my head. Like Emerald or what's the other one? Humira. Those type of drugs that you actually inject. Okay, and they have targeted things that they're actually targeting. Okay,
Yeah.
so when that's happening, then you kind of have to look at it. So even though they use those particular drugs for RA and psoriatic arthritis, they also use them for Crohn's disease.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there might be a drug that could be used for, like the side effects of some drugs, you could use drugs for alternate medical conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And it's a wide range of these things. And it's just like, one thing I was thinking about the other day and I was thinking about, we have the whole DNA sequence mapped out and our bodies are always changing. Our old cells are dying and new cells are growing. And I'm thinking to myself, do you ever see us getting to a point where we could do, what's the gene, what's the DNA? Is it a slicer? Where they clip the DNA where you can actually modify the DNA. They just had a cow was born as a result of this process.
Genetic modification.
Well, it's genetic. However, I was thinking to myself, it's like, well, if
cloning.
Well, it's not cloning. It's where you modify the outcome of gene behavior. So if you're known to have cancer cells, you can actually modify the DNA to change the way cancer behaves, and instead of expanding, it would contract or something along those lines. So it's not necessarily chemical changes, but changes at the DNA level. And
well, they do have targeted therapies.
Yeah, well, I have to believe that there's probably something along those lines being studied. And it's fascinating to me because if you're at the DNA level,
mm-hmm.
your DNA is mapped out to say, okay, I have no hair. Mm-hmm. It's like,
yeah,
okay, that's in the DNA. That's in my DNA. That's
mm-hmm.
like who I am is in my DNA. So if you mm-hmm. could actually modify that DNA at some point in time, it's kind of sci-fi a little bit, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And, however, it's like for disease and disease control and blindness or, different kinds of conditions like mm-hmm. Crohn's disease, it's like, okay, if you could see in the DNA and say, hey, this individual is prone to have Crohn's, and here's mm-hmm. some treatment that we can add to the DNA or prevention that we can add to the DNA. Mm-hmm. Do you ever see that taking place, or how does that fit into the current existing infrastructure that we have for drug study and prevention?
It is taking place, okay, and there's a fine line. It's called bioethics, right?
Yes.
So there's a fine line of what is ethical and what is too far, right? So how far can we go without actually going too far, right? Yeah. So, and that's the debate that they have in the medical ethical community. So they'll talk, about, altering the genetic structure. There are targeted therapies. There are targeted oncology treatments that are very specialized, for the individual right now as we speak. Okay, there is stem cell therapy. There are a variety of targeted therapies that are designed to help us live longer, healthier lives. And they're mostly available to those who are very wealthy. Now, Okay, so I'm gonna say on the flip side that if you want to have hair because you are vain, okay, right? That's not medically necessary for people to have hair, okay?
Right.
But if there is a reason and if there is a genetic mutation that they can correct so that babies are not born with mitral valve prolapse, okay, all right, that's a life-saving condition or a life-saving alteration that would be beneficial, okay? Yeah. But when you start having designer babies,
that's a different.
Okay, that's
is that
different.
A medical condition, or is that a
environmental? So it's like there goes that ethical question: what's medically necessary versus things that are desirable? Okay, I want to be taller. Okay, but is that actually necessary? No. Okay, so it's like. And then, you got the mad scientist people, right? So if it's like, well, it would be better if we could, create, taller people in the world. No. So that's why we need to create a bunch of committees to keep people in check, because once you start going down the rabbit hole of, oh, we can do this and, oh, we can do that. Yeah. We need to check ourselves and say, okay, well, is this something, should we do this is the question. And let's just pause.
Yeah. Just because we could doesn't mean we should, right?
Right. So that's the thing. Just because we could. Yeah. So that's right.
I think the tool was called CRISPR. So
CRISPR. Yes. Okay. Yes. CRISPR. Okay.
Hey,
yes.
I just want to give a shout out. This is a fascinating conversation that I could have for a long time, because it's really amazing some of the technologies that's going into this. So Wendy, good morning. Andy Schumann, good morning, everyone. How are you? Olivia here.
Hi, Olivia.
Yes.
Olivia.
Good afternoon. On fire. He says on fire. So then he says, Wendy, good morning. Wendy, Jeffrey, good morning. All these people. This is so interesting.
Hi, Angie.
And then we got Gabriel. Gabriel's in the house. Yeah.
Hi, Gabriel.
Everything wonderful community. Olivia's saying everything looks great. So I just want to give a shout out and thank everyone for being here. And if you're watching the replay, you can always go to russjohns.com and sign up for notifications to get new podcasts.
Awesome. Yes, he's an awesome host.
And we are talking about some amazing things with Dr. Clark, Pirate Deirdre.
Pirate Deirdre. Yes, I'm a pirate now.
Yes. And it's fascinating. So I want to go back and shift gears before we take off. So this is a long process to get to where you are today. Mm-hmm. So what was the point in your life where you decided, I want to be a research scientist, or I want to be a doctor working in research for drug? Was this a choice, or was it a series of decisions or opportunities that presented themselves, or what was the challenge in the opportunity that you saw in this journey?
Well, I'll tell you quickly. How much minutes do I have? 2 minutes? Okay. So, all right. So basically, I went to school. I became a chiropractor, and I wanted to. I really started falling in love with research because I started reading research, and I was going to go to medical school. But I was really tired. I had already went to school for like 8 years. Yeah. And I was like, I'm really, really, really tired. So I entered research via a different realm. I became a clinical research associate and moved in through that space and, became like a project manager and did QA and medical affairs and things like that. And so I went in that realm, even though most people don't go into clinical research because chiropractors don't believe in medicine or anything in that manner. But what I've learned from that is that you can combine what you know. So I know a lot about research. I know a lot about wellness. I know a lot about prevention. And, just kind of combine that knowledge and see that, you can combine the three and make it work to be able to help, the greater good. And so that was just, how I ended up in this space.
Wow. So you have a broad knowledge of a lot of different subjects that you're probably always curious. You're always looking for something up, and you always say, "I wonder how that works." And then you go down the rabbit hole and figure out how it works, right?
I do. I wake up in the middle of the night and I get my glasses and I'm starting to I'm Googling stuff. I'm researching stuff on NIH. And I'm like, that's why I don't get any sleep at night. So I'm always looking up different things because it's so important. And I just, it's been a really, really interesting time. And I want to say, thank you so much for having me on the show. Thank you so much for your wonderful guests that chimed in and said hello. Anytime, only I had a short time, but anytime we want to delve into, healthcare and prevention and what have you, because it's all a great space. I don't want people to think, dependent on drugs. That's not what I want them to take away from this, but I want them to take away that there's a lot of work that goes into research and development of new therapeutics that are available for them and to them, but you still have to do your part, meaning you still have to, do your exercise. You still have to eat right. You still have to, take control of your health and not depend on your doctor to say, here's a script, here's a script, here's a script, here's a script, because all those drugs in your body are just building up. So, do the best that you can, so that you don't have to have a shelf full of drugs, okay, so that you can maintain your life.
Yeah, the more you can maneuver through life without drugs, the better.
Yes, so, yes.
And it's about a healthy lifestyle as well. And it's like, okay, well, I broke a bone, so there's a process for that. It's like no shortcuts. You can't give me a pill for, it's like I can't heal overnight. It's like, it would be nice.
It would be nice, but you will heal. You will heal. You got to get that hip moving, keep it moving, and it will heal. It will heal. All of those bone cells will come together, heal that bone. I don't know if did you get a steel plate or anything in there? Right?
Yeah, okay. They bolted me back together.
So that's better than that's strong.
It will be rebuilt.
Yes.
And so, and the other thing I want people to understand is that everything is a process, and personal responsibility is important, because we all have a responsibility for our own bodies, our own minds, our own thoughts, and do your research, understand what it is that you have to work with, where you're going, and what kind of outcomes are you looking for? Because life is research. We're testing, we're evaluating, we're learning. I often tell people that life is like an instrument. We have to learn how to play our instrument.
Yes.
Best of our ability.
Yes.
So
yes.
Good.
Yes. And be advocates for our parents, because our parents, just like you say, your parents see things on TV. They see different therapeutics on TV. Do your due diligence. See, is this the right drug for you? It might help you, but it might not be the right drug for you. Because when your physician is prescribing a medication for you, they have to evaluate, is this the right drug for you based on your age, your race, your weight, so many things that they have to go through. Just because you see it on TV doesn't mean it's for you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation.
Thank
and
you.
I love the fact that we were able to connect and share this information with the community.
Absolutely.
And thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for the work you're doing. And if there's anything we can do to add value to your day, let us know and let me know. I'm more than happy to share it out and promote it. So if you're not connected with Deirdre, Pirate Deirdre, reach out, tell her Russ sent you. Tell her the Captain Pirate sent you. So,
Captain Russ. I love it. I love it. Yes, 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 yes.
So we
that's
can
right.
actually start this conversation, keep this conversation going, keep it positive, keep it productive, educate and inform other people around us that, there are options for us. There are things that are going on around the world that are positive, and there's people working hard to come up with outcomes and results that we need help with. So
there are a lot of hardworking people out here working so that we can be healthy. So just keep that in mind, and just keep, just turn off the noise. Turn off the noise, and then listen to the science. Turn off the noise, listen to the science.
Yeah. Life is an instrument. We have to learn how to play it. Yeah.
Yes, it is. I love that. That's a great saying.
Yeah. And then, yes, the more you can move your life without drugs, the better. So
yes. I agree. And if we all just kind of do our part, and kind of support one another, and post if you learn something new, post it, share it. Yeah, post it and share it.
Yeah, and let's have a dialogue. Let's have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
So this is another wonderful episode. We've got another pirate in the community, and I want to wrap it up and thank everyone for being here. Thank you, Deirdre, for your presence and your work and your efforts. And also, as you know, everyone, kindness is cool, smiles are free, and you enjoy the day. Take care. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining the Pirate Broadcast. If you found this content valuable, please like, comment, and share it across your social media channels. I would love the opportunity to help others grow in their business. The Pirate Syndicate is a platform where you show up, we produce the show. It's that easy. If you want to be seen, be heard, and be talked about, join the Pirate Syndicate today.